legislative process is just that, a process. We've had some stalemates, but the good news is grown-ups are talking to one another. The mayor's looking out for all the citizens of the city of Houston. The pension board has a fiduciary responsibility to its members. It's been protected, and I think anyone that would criticize this just literally does not understand the legislative process. We're not running IBM in Austin or in the city of Houston. We're running government. You never get what you totally want. In the 42 years that I've been in the legislature, very seldom have I gotten the exact piece of legislation that I wanted, or the world would be a better place, Mayor. No, seriously. This is, we'll go to work tomorrow. This takes a giant step forward for all the citizens of Houston. It looks out for some of our courageous firefighters. And I want to speak to my friends in the Firefighters Union and on the board and the retirees. This is in your best interest. I'm putting this to the test that I use in Austin. What is the greater good? And the greater good is that we accept this, move forward, and go to work tomorrow on the next agreement. And the real victory here is the city, because it's shown that its leadership and its employees can sit down at a table and reach a compromise that is a huge step forward. And Mayor, I thank you and that board. Representative Turner, are looking forward to working with you in Austin, because we can get this done.
And you're right, this isn't it's not a, pensions are a complex issue. There is no simple solution, and what, there are 1,000 bills already filed
More than 1,000.
in Austin, all of which have the ability to dominate our legislators' time. Having the opportunity to go with the pension system for a bill that, again, I freely acknowledge is not pension reform, nor will it necessarily save the city of Houston in the long term if the economy goes in the wrong direction. But if the economy continues as we expect, we did our analysis, as the pension expects, it will actually save taxpayers, because the firefighters have stepped up to put more of their money into the system to stabilize it. And anybody who promises you a simple or easy solution in Austin absolutely doesn't understand the government process. And it's taken me a while to get here, but I think it's the right thing to do for the city.
What's your expectation in the fourth year? I realize you won't be in office, but what's your expectation of the city's payout in the fourth year and going forward?
Well, first of all, the agreement reverts to the current agreement. So this is an interim step. But when I first started having these conversations with the pension, they essentially said, we don't have to talk to you. We don't have a mechanism. It doesn't matter what we agree down here. We have to go to Austin. We are happy with the pension as it is. And the wall went up. So what is available now is that they've clearly indicated their willingness to sit across from the table, which they were never willing to do before. So the next mayor has the opportunity to say, well, you hated Mayor Parker, and you talked to her. Sit down with me and let's figure out how do we have a secure and stable pension for our firefighters, but also respect that pension costs can crowd out the needs of today. And so what I think is the benefit to the next mayor is they'll have the ability to sit down and negotiate, and they can go back to the next session, again, arm in arm, if it works out.
So then maybe more so than the financial savings in the short term, is that the victory in your mind?
That is absolutely the victory in my mind.
Is the two sides that hadn't been talking are now?
Two sides that haven't been talking are now talking. And you'll have to ask them whether it was the first lawsuit or the second lawsuit or the new pension plan, or just the fact that they saw week after week the Fiscal Affairs Committee of Council saying, we have all of these needs, and how do we pay for these needs, and the pension costs are crowding things out. One of the things that I talked to the chairman of the pension about, and I hope we can get to, in fact I'd like to do this in all three pensions, is that he raised the issue of people who retired early on and live a long time, and they're at the poverty level. I think we ought to have, in all 3 of our pensions, a floor where we say, it doesn't matter, if you put your 20 in for the city of Houston and you retire, that your base pension is going to be, maybe it's 3 times the poverty level or whatever it is, we can decide, so that no one has to worry about a secure pension. On the other hand, I believe that the upper end of our pension, we don't need to do a cost of living adjustment every year. So there are lots of things that we can do, and I think, for example, that putting a floor in, that's something that Todd's open to, and I think it's the right thing to do. You put a roof in and you put a floor in, but now we have a framework for having that conversation.
And in the spirit of improved relations, firefighters are in essence taking a 3% pay cut.
They are, and that's why I started out by saying that they voted down a pay increase.
Right.
We offered them that pay increase because we believe they're underpaid. So this is a huge step up for firefighters, and I want to make sure that they understand that I recognize that.
Are you willing to reopen negotiations?
We've always been willing to reopen negotiations. It's in the ball's in their court.